One hive, one season, $4,000 in revenue from a single colony, 20 pounds of honey that sells for $200 a pound at specialty markets, direct to customers who wait months on a list just to get a jar. No chemicals, no antibiotics, no replacement queens every 18 months. Just a bee doing exactly what she was bred to do for over 70 years by a Benedictine monk who refused to accept that bees had to be fragile. This bee almost never swarms, she almost never stings, she survives brutal winters that wipe out every commercial colony in a 5-mile radius. She resists varroa mites, the parasite that has collapsed an estimated 50% of managed bee colonies in the United States over the last 30 years. And the honey she produces is so medicinally dense that hospitals in 3 countries have studied it as a pharmaceutical alternative to synthetic antibiotics. 3 governments banned her anyway. And by the end of this video, you will know exactly why, what this bee is, and how to bring her to your property starting this season. Here is what most backyard beekeepers are actually dealing with right now. You buy a nucleus colony for $250 to $350. You install it, add supers, manage for mites with oxalic acid, feed sugar syrup twice a year, replace the queen every 18 months because that is what every book and every forum tells you to do. You lose the colony anyway. Roughly 40% of managed hives in the US die every single year. You buy another nuke. You repeat the cycle. The average small-scale beekeeper with 2 to 4 hives spends $600 to $1,200 a year and harvests 20 to 30 pounds of honey total. At farmers market prices, that is $150 to $300 worth of product from a full year of labor and investment. Most of them never break even. Most of them quit inside 3 years. And the honey they do harvest sits on a table next to commercial imports from Argentina and China, selling for $4 a pound. There is no way to compete at that price. The margins disappear. The hobby becomes a subscription service. You are paying monthly fees to queen breeders, treatment manufacturers, and equipment suppliers for the privilege of doing something humans did for free for thousands of years. That was never how beekeeping was supposed to work. There was a bee built specifically to end this cycle. A bee whose colonies produce 80 to 120 pounds of honey per season. A bee who almost never needs treatment. A bee whose honey commands $200 a pound because the market understands what it is, even if most beekeepers have never heard her name. That bee is the Buckfast. And the reason you haven't heard of her is not an accident. To understand this bee, you have to go back to 1915 and a monastery on the edge of Dartmoor in Devon, England. A disease called Isle of Wight syndrome swept through the British Isles and wiped out nearly the entire native bee population in a single season. Some regions lost 90% of their colonies. The beekeeping industry was in ruins. Buckfast Abbey, a stone monastery run by Benedictine monks who had kept bees on the grounds for centuries, had almost nothing left. A 17-year-old monk named Brother Adam was assigned to manage whatever survived. He had almost nothing to work with. What he had was time, patience, and a mind that refused to believe bees had to be fragile. He spent the next 7 decades crossing the surviving British bee with the Ligurian bee from Italy, the Anatolian bee from Turkey, the Saharan bee from Morocco, the Carniolan bee from the Alps. Each cross was deliberate. Italian genetics for honey production, Carniolan genetics for winter hardiness, Anatolian genetics for disease resistance, Moroccan genetics for foraging range. He did not breed for show ribbons or county fair standards. He bred for one outcome only: a colony that produces more and costs less to keep alive. By 1973, when Brother Adam received the Order of the British Empire for his work, the Buckfast bee was producing 30 to 50% more honey than commercial Italian hybrids under identical conditions. Varroa mite loads in Buckfast colonies ran measurably lower than in any standard commercial stock. The honey itself tested at the upper end of antibacterial and enzymatic activity. Premium buyers knew what they were paying for. The rest of the industry noticed too, and they did not like what they saw. Norway, Sweden, and Denmark each banned the Buckfast bee. The official reason was genetic contamination. The argument was that the Buckfast, as a hybrid of multiple subspecies, threatened the genetic integrity of native bee populations. That argument falls apart the moment you look at who funded the research behind it. The queen breeding laboratories, the companies selling patented replacement queen lines, the pharmaceutical manufacturers producing Vero treatments at $40 to $80 per treatment round. None of them benefit from a beekeeper who buys one Buckfast queen, learns to breed from her locally, and runs colonies that need neither annual queen replacement nor 2 treatment rounds a season. A Buckfast beekeeper who masters basic queen rearing stops buying queen cells forever. A Buckfast beekeeper running low natural mite counts stops buying synthetic treatments. A Buckfast beekeeper harvesting 100 pounds of premium honey per hive stops competing at $10 a pound and starts selling at $200 with a waiting list. That beekeeper is not a customer anymore. She is a problem. What cannot be patented cannot be controlled. What cannot be controlled cannot generate recurring revenue. And industries watching recurring revenue disappear do not write press releases about it. They fund research. They lobby regulators. They get things banned. Here is what they did not count on. The Buckfast survived anyway. Brother Adam's original breeding lines never disappeared. Small breeders across Germany, France, the Netherlands, the UK, and the United States kept selecting from his foundation stock long after the bans went into effect. The Buckfast Breeders Association maintained rigorous programs. The genetics were too strong, the results too obvious in the hive for serious beekeepers to abandon over government paperwork. Today, Buckfast breeders in the US and across non-restricted countries are documenting exactly what Brother Adam documented at the Abbey: 80 to 120 pounds per hive in good forage years, overwintering survival rates running well above national averages. Vero accounts that allow beekeepers to eliminate or dramatically reduce synthetic treatment entirely. The information was buried. The bee survived. Now the knowledge is coming back. Here is how to actually start. Step 1 is sourcing genuine genetics. This is where almost everyone goes wrong before they begin. You cannot walk into a commercial bee supply store and get a Buckfast queen that still carries the production and resistance traits Brother Adam spent 70 years building. Commercial queen producers breed for volume and docility. They are not tracking honey yield per colony, mite wash numbers, or overwintering survival rates across generations. They are filling orders. What you want is a small breeder who can tell you exactly what their colonies averaged last season, what their mite counts looked like in August, how many colonies they put into winter versus how many came out. Those numbers are everything. The Buckfast Breeders Association maintains a directory. Regional bee associations are another starting point. Ask the hard questions. The right breeders answer them with data. Step 2 is forage. The Buckfast was built to work open landscape, and she uses it. Even in a suburban backyard, a Buckfast colony within reach of the right plants will dramatically outperform commercial stock on monoculture: plant phacelia, borage, white clover, linden, and buckwheat. Even a 20 by 20 foot patch of the right species extends her productive season by weeks on both ends. That extended season is where the premium honey profile builds. Step 3 is learning to breed your own queens. One Buckfast queen costs $60 to $100. That same queen produces hundreds of daughters across her laying life. With a simple grafting kit and 1 season of practice, you stop buying genetics entirely. Within 2 to 3 generations of selecting from your strongest, highest producing, lowest mite colonies, you are doing exactly what Brother Adam did. You are not a customer anymore. Step 4 is pricing correctly. If you are producing Buckfast colony honey from diverse forage and selling it at $10 a pound, you are subsidizing someone else's breakfast. Get it tested. Enzymatic activity, antibacterial properties, pollen profile, moisture content. That test result is your sales page. The buyers paying $200 a pound already know what they want. Your job is to show up in the right place with the right story. The mistakes that kill most attempts at this are predictable. Buying from a commercial supplier who calls their queens Buckfast without being able to document the genetics. Treating the hive with the same aggressive schedule you used on commercial stock, which suppresses exactly the natural resilience you paid for. Selling at commodity prices because it feels safer than asking for a premium. And stopping after 1 generation instead of compounding the selection pressure across 3 or 4. Picture your operation 4 years from now. 4 hives of locally selected Buckfast stock overwintering without losses. Spring buildup that hits peak population before the first nectar flow. 80 to 100 pounds per hive at the summer harvest. A waiting list of buyers who found you through word of mouth and will not buy from anyone else. A feed and treatment bill that is a fraction of what you used to spend. Queens, you breed yourself from the strongest performers in your own yard. You did not build a hobby, you built a food business that runs on a quarter-acre backyard, and genetics one monk spent his entire life developing so that you could have exactly this. Drop a comment right now. Are you already working with Buckfast genetics? If not, what has been holding you back? Subscribe and turn on notifications because the next video covers the exact 7-plant forage system that extends your nectar season from April through October and costs nothing to establish. You do not want to miss that one. This knowledge was never lost. It was just waiting for someone willing to go looking for it. Now you have it.